Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, switching gears, let's talk about Gen AI, right? Gen AI is now able to write copies. It's able to create creatives. People are using it to, create Ghibli photos and whatnot, right? Uh, do you think because of all this, the role of experimenter will kind of get curtailed? Do you think in the future Gen AI will be able to hypothesize, create experiments for you, and humans will be sidelined, or do you think humans will still be required, at least in a more strategic roles? The question is first to Joshua, and then we'll go around the room. Yeah.
Well, I feel that it's going to happen in everything in the daily basis, let's say, and in every job that you have, that you are going to be more out of the loop regarding operations, and you are going to be more on strategic. I feel that you can use already as a copilot, to refine your hypothesis, to better wording your hypothesis, and so on. And in the future, even maybe you can upload, let's say, a data set, and it can provide some hypotheses around what you should experimentate to validate some hypotheses. Here, the competitive advantage should be the context, because the data set that doesn't have context. So our role should be a framer. You need to frame where you are, and how is your situation. Come back to the analogy of the GPS. We all know that you can use the GPS to go faster from one point to another, but maybe you go from a very dangerous neighborhood in the middle. And you don't want to go through there. So the context is going to be the advantage of our teams in the future. We are going to be more strategic, and we are going to be later in. I mean, you can you are going to be able to upload a data set, and the Gen AI is going to evaluate 100 experiments in terms of p values, power, and blah blah blah. And I don't want to do that, by the way. I want a machine to do that for me. I want to provide hypotheses. I want to provide a business advantage.
Understood. Yeah, so tough days ahead, Ishan, for both of us, if Gen AI is going to interpret all the statistics. Robson, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Gen AI is going to reduce the, importance of an experimenter, or, the role of experimenter will still remain?
Okay. First of all, every podcast I take part asks about Gen AI, and to be completely honest, I have no idea. I believe nobody here has any idea. We're just saying, oh well, I believe that. But there's this quote of Judea Pearl. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly, but that data is profoundly dumb. It's aligned with what Josue told us, that well, the data doesn't contain context. And 80% of my job is talking to people to learn where is the data about their business part in the company that has more than 50,000 employees, and joining these separate parts of data in a single table and cleaning it and making sense out of it and applying the context that I have, and also knowing from Julia Pearl that statistics can't solve causal problems alone. You need to model it somehow. Even if your model is not a structural model, it's just a belief and an intuition that you put in a regression, you still have to model it. So, well, once AI can do this, then I'm out of my job and it. But I believe there is a long time ahead of us in that sense, because people in the business, they don't know how to formulate the question. So how are they going to ask the AI to do this? When we achieve
That's a great point.
the idea that Josua said, okay, everybody should have data literacy and be able to formulate important hypotheses to the business, at this day, then I'm going to be unemployed. So let's hope it takes a lot of time for Gen AI to replace us, but let's hope that it take just a short time for people to be literate on data and analytics.
Mhm. Ishan, what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are really that going forward as Gen AI starts to do more and more things, and I don't know humans which direction they'll take, but there can be two directions. Either we become passive and we let it do what it wants to do, and we just trust it to do the right thing. But I think humans are more they're more inquisitive. They are going to understand and want to understand even AI. How is it working and why is it taking the decisions that it is taking? So I personally think that it is always like first you achieve intelligence and then you debug back to understand that intelligence. So I personally think that the task of at least experimenters will should increase at understanding what AI is doing. And even like we have seen in the past 20 years that companies who are experimenting, they are gaining much more benefit. I think people who will be experimenting with their own AIs will have much more control over the outcomes of their AI. And people who are not experimenting, they'll be losing out control from of the outcome of the AI. So
Mhm.
I think personally, experimentation is not entirely doomed, but like only future will tell, as Robson said.
Mhm.